Hmm.
All right. We are live and everybody is here. So welcome everybody. We are at our second edition of the Mother Tongues Open Mic. So I'm going to open us up with a poem. A praying Puerto Rican peasant, Tololita Lebron. Jibara, they called me, because I came from the curvy core of my country, away from industrialized skylines and colonized cities, where rebellious screams echo through mountains and freedom craving blood cries down rivers, beautiful like the landscapes that raised me. Haciendas, my parents, tree canopies, my abuelos, horizons, my aunts, and cordilleras, my uncles. The ocean, a neighbor who could never move away. Too dumb they thought me to see the cuffs on our wrists and the chains around our ankles, Ponce's streets stained by murderous sacrifice, red. A piece of our flag spilling onto sidewalks, lives lost in a massacre for liberation, migration to the mainland forced by a war that wasn't ours, fingertips nicked by needles and vision blurred by long hours. My senses clearer than the streams I sipped from as a child. Terrorists, they renamed me because I refused to submit to a president who gagged my mouth, attempting to silence my stars, stripes, and pride. With Pedro in my spirit, Puerto Rico in my heart, pistol in my hand, and prayers in my breath, I shouted, Padre nuestro que estás en los cielos, viva Puerto Rico libre, santificado sea tu nombre. As I released our flag, venga tu reino, hágase tu voluntad, to the light of the day, and shot así en la tierra como en el cielo, to the ceiling, protecting me and mine. Danos hoy nuestro pan de cada día. I did not repent, y perdona nuestras ofensas como también nosotros. 30 bullets in the name of Borinquen, perdonamos a los que nos ofenden. I never fell to the feet of a nation, no nos dejes caer en la tentación that could never treat me better, y líbranos del mal. Than a jíbara from el campo. Amen. I fear nothing, because how could they imprison me from a world where I was never free? They must respect the colors that paint the veins in my body. No murder tried against masters, but defense done for my home. Yes, I did it. Again and again and again. Yes, I was in my right mind. Dead, they pronounced me. My name engraved on the lands of my birth. My headstone cracked from the epitaph it carries. A century of fight that will not end with me dying. With water in my lungs, I still sing songs of a shackleless Isla del Encanto. What's up, everybody? So again, my name is Tatiana Figueroa Ramirez. Welcome to Mother Tongues Open Mic. Big shout out to American Poetry Museum for putting this all together and allowing this space where we all can share some love, some art, and some poetry in what feels most natural to us, not what is most popular wherever we reside in right now. So if you were with us last month, back in April, you know that you are in for a treat. You know, there we had Urdu, we had Spanish, we had Amharic, we had English, we had a diverse group of poets and a diverse set of poetry. And honestly, a lot of it felt like prayer. What felt best about it was it felt like community. And that's the point of the American Poetry Museum. That's the point of this open mic right here. So we're happy to have you. Thank you for watching us. And we're happy to have this group of poets with us here from all over. We got California represented, we got Uruguay represented, of course, we've got DC represented as well. So thank you so much for being here. Now, normally what I would do is I would test out the crowd, let you know, like, hey, if you're enjoying what you're doing, you could clap, you could shout, you could give us some snaps, you could give us a huepa, some like, I felt that in my heart, right? but we're virtual. So we can't hear you reacting to us, but what you can do is you can leave comments under the video, you could react to the video, show some love to these poets that are sharing a piece of themselves with you tonight. Okay, and I've already mentioned the American Poetry Museum. If you have not heard of the American Poetry Museum before, you are missing out. It is a really great creative space in DC, creating a space for really there to be discussion around art, around poetry, around the DC community. So if you like what you see tonight and if you want to learn more, please feel free to check out the American Poetry Museum, like us on Facebook. I will be dropping links in the comments for the American Poetry Museum, how you can donate to the museum. They are a nonprofit. It is a pandemic going on, and we're doing our best to give you the same quality that we always try to give, even when we're not going through what we're going through. And I'm also going to be dropping links to our poets. So if you like what you hear, if you want to connect with them, please, please, please make those connections. Okay, so I'm assuming everybody is ready. Okay, so I got everybody warmed up. I was the scapegoat. But next up, you are going to hear from my press mates. So shout out to Flower Song Press. She is coming to us all the way from California. So she's in like 3 different time zones right now. And, you know, she just published her debut collection of poetry. I hope she has it with her to show off. It just got highlighted in the LA Times. So shout out to her and all of the great things she's doing. I had the opportunity to meet her just in March, so about 2 months ago, and she is just a gem. She is full of so much light, so you are in for a treat. Please welcome Ana Natalia.
Hi, y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone watching. I have my little book here, the little tabs, you know, because sometimes I don't want to lose my poems or I don't want to lose my place. And it feels very surreal to have it in my hands, but I'm getting used to it. I'm going to start with Strawberry Fields Are Forever. Legs and arms aching, I would run to the door excited for an embrace. They'd back away. No, mija. My father denies it now. My uncles chuckle and grab another beer. My grandfathers hum under their breath. But strawberry fields are forever. I'd lift my hands against theirs. Was it dirt or were their hands that brown? Splintered, broken, strong, comforting. Able to hold my weight, tap their fingers to Richie Valens, spin records on the weekends, and then bend their backs against a hot Khalifa sun on Monday. Blood, disguised by the sweet juice, mixed with a day's sweat, was our normal. On the occasional day when carts were hauled in, I cheerfully scarfed them down and giggled. A child too young to perceive, strawberry fields are forever. The next one is La Doña. Find her. There she is. Dicen que la doña cantaba cuando era joven, y a veces se alcanza a escuchar desde el parque cómo esfuerza su voz, como cada fin de palabra suena como un llanto, la tristeza que se traga, ahoga su canto hasta que el silencio la calla. Sus hijos, todos hombres, son su todo. Aunque estén resentidos, algún día me agradecerán. Dicen que ya está cansada, que sus gritos no son los de antes, cuando les regañaba a sus hijos por sus travesuras o cuando asustaba a las novias. Es por su bien. Dicen que cuando la doña se enojaba, toda la cuadra corría hacia sus casas. Les voy a enseñar a ser hombres, decía. Ahora se queda en casa. Camina agarrándose de la pared o de lo que pueda. Su baño está lleno de medicamentos que le manda su hijo del norte. Sí me quieren. Sí, me quieren. Sí, me quieren. Trata de callar la voz de duda, la misma voz que hace muchos años la convenció a no seguir su sueño de ser artista. Cucurrucucú, paloma. Cucurrucucú, no llores, las piedras jamás, paloma, que van a saber de amores. Cucurrucucú, 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 paloma, paloma, ya no le llores. Thank you.
Great job. Yes, Natalia. You know, so I mentioned that I met Natalia in person this past spring in March, and we were in Texas together at AWP conference, and I heard her sing in her poetry. And you know, when like just after I introduced her tonight, I was in my mind, oh, I hope she's gonna sing, because she just has such a beautiful voice. Yeah, you did that for me. Yes, girl. No, but yes, I already dropped her social media in the comments. Her Venmo is there as well. So if you want to show her some love in that way, you know, artists got to eat too. So make sure you show support in some kind of fashion, or let her know you appreciated her work. Her book is out. So if you're interested in copying that, please connect with her and let her know that you appreciate her work and you're supporting her in that way. Thank you so much, Natalia.
Yes. May I go next?
Yeah, I was actually going to introduce you just next.
Thank you.
Yep. So next up, we got some eager readers tonight. So we've got Kike.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kike.
I'm not necessarily an eager reader today. Yeah. We're in a very difficult moment. And we're being played. So I'm gonna read one piece, and this is a piece that I wrote a long time ago. From the perspective of you know, just a kid, no? And Valentin is a kid that I met maybe 5 years ago, and he's disappeared. He got picked up by DC police, and for some reason he was turned over to ICE, and we're trying to find out where he's at. So we know that he's in kind of detention center. These things that are being run by private companies. And this is dedicated to him, and hopefully we will find him and free him. So this is Walter's poem. I am a man at 17. I know how to handle a gun, how to balance a checkbook, and how to make up a story. I'll tell you one. I'm a Mexican elephant in the middle of the ocean. I wear perils, combat boots, and an Oakland Raiders cap. My mother was a Salvadorian ninja. My father was a Czechoslovakian mortician. I have a sister who plays the banjo, a brother in the San Francisco Zoo, and an uncle who speaks with his elbows. I have a collection of pubic hairs from Oklahomans, a greenhouse underneath my toilet, and a picture of Ethelmer Miller kissing Alicia Parnoy, also in the middle of the ocean. I am a minute 17. I know how to handle a gun, how to balance a spider on my left eye, and how to make up a story. I'll tell you one. I'm an Orthodox priest who writes poems for sinful nuns. I'm a French medicine man who cures people with waters from the Potomac. I love sex that makes you bilingual. Oh, baby, oh, baby, baby, baby. I love it when a cop gets a parking ticket and with his ice cream drops on the floor and when he can't balance a spider on his left eye like I do. I love to love the things you shouldn't love, like toe jam, bad breath. I am a man at 17. I know how to handle a gun, how to balance my son up in the air with my feet, and how to make up a story. I'm an alien with no galactical green card. I hate being in jail. I hate the smell of immigration officials. I hate it when flowers refuse to talk back. I hate my passbook, my eternal galactical green card. I hate this United States apartheid. I hate the story because I didn't make it up. I am a man at 17, and I think I'll keep the gun and keep on making up stories. Love you all. I gotta go.
Thank you for sharing that, Kike. You know, that's one of the reasons why I was drawn to poetry when I first started writing. I find it to be very therapeutic and very cathartic. And I think that when you're able to find communities like this where you feel safe enough to be vulnerable and to share those experiences and those emotions, it's really a beautiful thing that you really can't explain to somebody until you experience it for yourselves. So I want to thank everybody who's here, including the audience, for allowing that to be shared in a safe place. Okay. All right, so next up, we have one of our new additions to the Mother Tongues family. She has come to us from DC, so not far at all, and it is her first time reading. So we're all gonna show her lots of love in the open mic capacity. Show her lots of love in the comments, please. And I'd like to welcome Emily.
Thank you, Tatiana. As she said, it is my first time sharing my poetry in this format and at an open mic night. So thank you guys for watching, all of you who are out there. So my first poem is called Help My Unbelief. All my prayers are paper airplanes, strong-rooted trees shaved into sheaves of leaves, bleached, pressed into rectangles, so unlike its woody origin. It is hard to convince a child where paper comes from. You have to show them a documentary of a wild branch thing stripped into cylinders, chopped into squares, geometry, naturally. Eyes wide like tree rings, they watch magic wood confetti cooked into a cruel gruel and spooned into trays to be baked into a tree cake, paper thin, tasteless, flimsy, weak. A stack of white leaves, squared. Transformed like this, trees can travel, can defy gravity, at least for a time, if folded right. And so I fold, a little to the left, a little to the right. Forefinger and thumb now pinch the nose, sharpening corners and edges to splice apart oxygen from nitrogen, as this aircraft slices heavenward, hanging momentarily, balancing on a breeze. Every tiny plane a prayer, thrown with faith that trees can fly. Thank you. And if I still have time, I'd like to share another poem. I wrote this for a good friend of mine from Cairo several years ago. He and his dad have been in COVID lockdown in Barcelona for a while, so as dedication to him. It's called Star Wars. It's for Jorge. He flies Battlestar Galactica in his dreams, unfettered, flying faster than mere mortals manage. Drugs do nothing for a brain, spun around supernovas fusing atoms, nuclear reactions. Sleep walks away and refuses to become bedmates, leaving him wondering what he did to offend her. His tender soul soiled by experience, blame. His heart, his mind are at war, but he battles well, writing himself his hero's script, to act out until self-perception becomes a birth star, bursting itself onto the backs of our eyelids, so when we close them, we see him, a spark in the universe. Thank you for listening.
Emily, I don't know why you were nervous. And let me tell you, if you wouldn't have told us that this was your first time performing, I would have never guessed it. You read so naturally, and you conveyed your poetry in such a beautiful way. Because I'm not gonna lie, some people have a little bit difficult time, when it comes time to presenting their work, right? But like it, I think you read so beautifully. So I hope that you will read out loud many more occasions. Okay. And just so you know, we're getting a lot of love for you in the comments. So so I'm not the only one who thinks that. All right, so since I mentioned the comments, I just want to remind folks I am dropping people's Instagrams and their Venmos in there. So if you want to connect more, you can do it that way. I did also drop the link to the American Poetry Museum PayPal. So if you feel inclined to support by donating financially to the museum, please do so. Every dollar is appreciated and everything counts. But back to the poetry, which is why you are here. Next up, we've got, he likes to call himself Your Highness, but most of us fondly know him as Johannes. So Johannes is coming to us right here in the DMV area, but he is proudly representing Ethiopia tonight and always. So please help me welcome Johannes.
Hello everyone, Johannes here. Not Johannes. I'll be reading two poems. So before that, I'll give you a synopsis of each. The first one is A Chant of Love. The stanzas are nostalgia, but the feeling is a reality. Precious as love. So it's a romance, it's care, it's a celebration of love. It's counting blessings. We are locked down at home. But to anyone who can give a self-interview, there is another world. That's this poem. There is a song blended with it, but my voice is not as beautiful as Anatalia's, but I have to do it. Anatalia, sorry. እንዴት ያለ ዝናብ ወርዶብኝ አደረ፣ እንዴት ባለ ነፋስ ሰይጣኔ በረረ፣ እንዴት ያለ ፀሐይ ወጣብኝ በላይ፣ እኔስ አንቺን ሸተተ ገላይ፣ ሸተተ ገላይ፣ ተንሰራፋሽበት በሁለመናይ፣ ጀባ በሁለመናይ፣ ይገርማል ስምሽ ማን ይባላል? ይገርማል ማታ በጨረቃው ይወርዳል ሙዚቃው ያሳብዳል ዚቃው ተገርቦ ሳንቃው ሲተራመስ እቃው ሰማይ ምድር አይበቃው ወለሉን አንቃቃው ሞቱን አነቃቃው ገረመኝ አካፋሽ መሰለኝ ከግር እስከ ራሴ እንዴት ትኩስ አፈር ሸተተ ትራሴ መዳባማ ጮራ ፍንጥቅጥቁ ልዩ የሰራ አካላቴን አጋለው ዋዩ አይታይሽም ወይ የፊትሽ ነጸብራቅ ኮርኒስ ላይ ፀሐዩ በትንፋሽሽ ብራቅ ሲታረስ ሰማዩ በወለላው ምራቅ ሲወዛ መዳዩ ሲተራመስ ምድር በገላችን እሳት ፍጥረታት ሲጋዩ አይታይሽም ወይ አያሳዝንም ወይ? Thank you. The second one is about considerateness, being considerate. It's a reminder that people we think are strong may or may not be, specifically during this challenging time of a global pandemic. This is an amplified voice of a therapist or an artist or anyone who has been doing it for us, making it easier for us, who has been dearly listening and extending hands, but neglected as if they don't have one problem or issues that they want to share. They may need help this time, so this is a reminder that we have to check each one another, and we should take it easy. If we're not seeing those people around, it could be that they are dealing with their own issues. Let me just jump into the poem. ቄስ አይደለው ሰሚ ብቻ ቁስ አይደለው መጎተቻ ጨርቅ አይደለው መቀነቻ ቃጫ አይደለሁም ማንገቻ ከቶም የሚጣድበት ጉልቻ የሚታጨቅበት ስልቻ ከቴም ጆሮ ባገኝስ አለኝ ብዙ የሚወራ የሚራገፍ የሐሳብ ፍሬ ጎተራ ብስል ከጥሬ በወዳጅ እጅ የሚፈራ እሳት ቢኖረኝስ ነበረኝ ብዙ የምጥደው ማበስለው የማማስለው ማልመው በክፉ ቀን የምጠግበው አጋዥ ባገኝ ማቃልለው ብዙ ሸክም በጀርባዬ ጆሮ ባገኝ የምተርከው ብዙ ታሪክ ከኋላዬ አለኝ ግን ችግር ነው ችግር አዝሎ አጽናኝ መሆን ችግር ሰሚ ያስመስላል ተሸካሚ ህመም የማያውቅ አካሚ የማያውቁለት ካዳሚ ስሜት ተሞልቶ ሙጥቻ Thank you.
Very nice, Johannes. Thank you.
Thank you, Tati.
And you did very well in your singing as well. At least better than I could do, that's for sure. So again, if you want to connect more with Johannes, I've dropped his Instagram handle down there. He's also on Facebook. He does a lot of work here in the DMV and nationally, really internationally, with the Ethiopian community and the poetry community. So he's someone you definitely want to check out. Speaking of international, we are going to transition to our next poet who is representing Uruguay tonight and always. So I want you all to show a lot of love for our dear friend, Virginia.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. Well, first I'm going to read in Spanish. I'm going to read two poems. One was written by someone who lives with me, but who doesn't want to read his own poem. And the second one is one that I wrote, right? Okay, here it goes. This is my first time also. Okay. Hoy vengo a robarle el alma al ángel, en nombre de los solitarios. Una manada sucia, gris e inestable vela la flama desde el pulso mismo, de la exequia infame en que como un pájaro absurdo el monstruo cuáquero se harta de sus calambres. La oreja sorda, la boca vacía, la sombra inerte y sin dientes, la nariz crónica, espuria y aberrada de alergias, los ojos secos y sin lágrimas. Ya no puede tocar, ya no quiere tocar, ya no sabe tocarnos. Vine para quebrar el trono roto donde se abruma el ínfimo dios adormecido que ya no suda, que es piel y hueso, las manos en la rodilla, el cráneo cabizbajo y su pesar de cosa muerta. Con voz trémula pide silenciosamente, por lo que más quieras, que hunda mis dedos de hojalata cortante en su pecho frío como un salmo. Sí, hoy saldré de aquí con su escoria entre mis manos, con hedor a tenia, con su temblor de pez vegano, y el trago amargo que carga todavía entre sus carnes, su ardor podrido de canción de glisofatos. Lo veo, lo huelo, lo escucho, casi no lo rozo, siquiera le hablo. Hundo mi mano, un gusano en Nueva York que roe la manzana de Manhattan. Se queja apenas su esperanza, que ya no puede, que ya no quiere, o nunca supo salir de entre esas piernas, cambiarse de esqueleto. Enterrado en un recuerdo rebelde, en pugna por desanestesiar la idea de todos cuantos fuimos diminutos, en tiempos de abrasión y de billete. Hoy palpitante de otoño, de sarna y de dolor entero, mañana será invierno en su lógica de guión, en su Biblia de matraz, Pobre ángel urdido a golpes de soplete, falso pastor hundido en palabras de concreto, sin corazón, de núcleo ausente. Oigo soplar a lo elefante. Hoy voy a escupir la copa, hoy vengo a deshonrar el pan. Hoy vine para arrancarle el sueño al ángel, en nombre de los solitarios, y a mostrarle al coro de los paquidermos que me queja la misma lepra existencial que ha hundido desde siempre al pobre solo, a aquel que vacuo de pétalos como mandril, como Ícaro, como Prometeo, soliviantado entre borracheras de esperanza, sepa que he hurtado el alma del simulador, de mancos y desfavorecidos, porque nos une el mismo insoportable ardor. Bueno, este es el primero, that was the first one. And the second one. Travesti cyborg se desviste ante mí, como metáforas que esconden no lugares entrecruzados por heterotopías de cuerpos hetero y de topías corpóreas, utopías corporales que escondidas se unen en la lucha. Conciliación de voces dispares entrelazadas por códigos de ceros y unos, de X, de Y, de X e Y, de X y X. Matrices binarias nos condicionan y esclavizan, produciendo intrincados intercambios de códigos que dibujan puentes de lenguajes afásicos. Signos y redes, virus y látex, siglas y números, white noise, silencio. Aturdida por sonidos mudos, ruego por silencio. Zoom, zoom, zumbido que resuena en mi cabeza. Zoom, vacuo signo lingüístico. Invade la lengua, la contamina hasta vaciarla. Insoportable zumbido, lugar de desencuentros, que espeja los rostros hasta la artificialidad, desfigurándolos, transvistiéndolos en píxeles que imitan una mímesis que no es.
Virginia, that was beautiful.
No, thank you.
I don't know why you were nervous either. You know, honestly, your voice is so soothing. Like I can't, like as you were reading, I was just like, okay, okay, and it was like I was just kind of falling into it. It was beautiful. I loved it. And
thank you.
And by the way, I love the bookcase behind you too. That is like, that's a dream right there. So thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we are down to our last poet. So this is somebody nobody knows. Nobody knows who this guy is. If you've been to the American Poetry Museum, then I'm sure you have heard of Mr. Sammy Miranda. He does a lot of great community work here in the DMV. He does a lot, you know, not just in poetry too. You know, at the American Poetry Museum, there are installations all the time. There's always a show going on with visual art, and you know, it's really about the communication between the visual art and the poetry and just the human interaction. And I'm definitely gonna drop Sammy's Instagram link in the comments because this guy, his art is so dope. And I love the projects that he comes up with. He's so creative. He works in all different types of mediums. And honestly, I'm jealous of, of his talent when it comes to the visual arts. So last but not least, none other than the wonderful Sammy Miranda.
Hey, folks. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Tatiana, for being such a great host of the open mic. I'm going to start off with a piece that I called Flee, and it's a piece that's in conversation with a print that was done that was exhibited at the museum. You are no longer this place, no longer accepted, uprooted, the tree removed from the landscape, beauty no longer found in its flower, comfort no longer found in its shade. What does it mean to be homeless? A human is borderless until a line is drawn into the dirt that houses the bones. And then they become not man, not woman, but flag. A thing to be defined by the imagination of limited minds. What does it mean to be told that you are or are not of a place you have always been from? Not from a dirt that knows your blood, not from a place that has fertilized its soil with your ancestors. And then I'm gonna read an older piece that's in the book published by Zozobra Press, Zozobra Publishing. It's called Premio Primer Lugar, and it's in Abecedarian, so it has this like continuous like use of particular letters in the alphabet. Balsero, you win. Hold up your trophy. First place for arriving alone and altered, for building a balsa that doesn't burst, cursing Castro, losing Cuba, crying, denying drowning, defining dementia, dreaming, for exciting El Egua with your exit, for fleeing family and feeling an ocean sun's fire, for grieving in Guantanamo, hurting, hurting, and hurting more, for internalizing ire, for jumping, killing, for living lonely, really just for living. For El Moreno, Mauricio, Micaela, muertos en el mar. Por nacer, nene, necio. For praying to Obatalá, Osun, Oya, Orula, Oshosi, Orishas, overboard. Parting from patria post-mortem. For quiet fear, quick reflexes, questioning. Praying while rowing a ragamuffin raft. Sequestered with uncensored sharks. For transforming tragedy into temptation. And understanding undercurrents in your underclothes. For having visions of verdura bearing virgins. For wearing the wind. While calling Yemaya Coñantos. For landing zen-like in this zoo. Y ahí estamos.
Sammy, that was so dope. So that brings us to the end of Mother Tongues Open Mic, our second edition. I just want to say a big thank you again to all of our poets who performed. Special shout out to Kike, who was with us earlier. Of course, shout out to everybody who's watching us on Facebook right now. Make sure you leave your comments, show some love to all of our poets. I dropped everybody's Instagrams, Venmos if they have it, so that you could connect with them further. I also dropped the link to donate to the American Poetry Museum. Just remember the American Poetry Museum is run by us. It's for poetry, it's for art, it's for the community. And, I know people like Sammy especially have been putting in a lot of effort to make sure that there's programming going on year round. And this pandemic isn't gonna stop us, it's just gonna bring us closer together. As you can see, we're bringing together Uruguay, California. Last time we had people from New York, New Jersey as well. So this is the time to reconnect with everybody. So I'm glad you chose to spend your evening with us. Check out for the next Mother Tongues Open Mic coming in June 12th, okay? Second Friday of the month. So we'll see you then. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, let me stop recording.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.